Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Smut Chat with Jeen Bean. I am so excited about this month's Smut Chat because today I am joined by the one, the only Gaia, aka Gaia Goddess Menace. So, Gaia, please introduce yourself to our lovely listeners.
Hello. I'm Gaia. Yes, the laugh is always there. I am a fan of audio erotica. Audio erotica stumbled across my path through Instagram and instantly I fell in love with it from the first audio that I listened to. So, my primary role, I would say, is just an audio erotica enthusiast, which has also turned into just being able to encourage people in the space and in the ways that I do, that I sometimes call bullying, but just with all of the love. And I also write scripts for audio erotica now as well for a few platforms.
Oh my goodness. I love how understated you said that as if you aren't one of the best well-known writers in the space. You're like, oh, I do that on the side.
There's a lot of amazing writers, so I'm just happy to be in the group.
I find your writing to be truly phenomenal. Like every time I listen to one of your audios, I'm like, oh my God, this person is so talented. First of all, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. The thing that I had reached out to you about for this topic was thinking about size inclusiveness, sexiness at all sizes, all shapes, all skin tones and colors.
Yes.
I know that, you had earlier referenced, I'm going to call it benevolent bullying.
Sure. Yes. Yes.
I think you are one of the voices in the space where I constantly see you uplifting people. You are the definition of like a girl's girl.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
And I think it's felt. I think your love and your adoration for like women and femmes is very palpable. So like know that it is having an impact.
Yes, I hope so.
So I wanted to chat with you about this. Now, correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I think in addition to being obviously like an unreal scriptwriter, you're also known in the audio erotica space for being sort of unapologetically hot and like sharing thirsty photos
Yes.
and gorgeous shots of your body and encouraging others to do so. Now, am I right in assuming were you one of the people who started the hump day tradition on Wednesdays?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That was me and a good gentle lady, Jen.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, love that. I feel like since I've joined this space, that's like snowballed into like Monochrome Monday, Thigh Thursday, Feral Friday. Like there's all these
yes.
different, like now there's an excuse every single day to like be a little
Any day. Any
spicy.
day.
Can you tell us a little bit more about how this started? Like how did this come to be?
Sure. So Jen and I have been friends since the Naughty Patreon days. We've been friends for a while. And one of the things that we kind of did immediately, because Jen has done some photographies and some different photo shoots, and I just like to take pictures of myself with the exhibitionist heart that I have. And
Yes.
and so we would just like trade pictures with each other and we would give each other photo advice. Both of us on our individual pages would just share photos of ourselves. I mean, it wasn't always about the sexiness of it for me. And I'm very much a person who will throw myself under the bus for others if it will help them in some way. But I would just post pictures of myself. I'm a large woman. I'm a very tall woman. I'm a very wide and round in lots of places woman. So as we were both doing that, we were like, why don't we just make it a thing and see if people want to do it? Because we would get a lot of comments on those photos from the women. I have some male followers. I actually don't have a ton of male followers.
Me
But
neither.
yeah, I'm for the girls. And so the first hump day we did, I mean, maybe like 10 or 15 people participated. And we were so excited. We're like, okay, do you all want to
I
keep
was gonna
doing
say
this?
that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun. And then by the time we had to kind of switch it up because meta and the rules, I mean, the last big hump day event we did, there were over 100 people who participated.
Oh my gosh.
And so it was just amazing because gosh, body image is such a strange thing, and it doesn't end even as you get older for people. I mean, I'm in my 40s, but it is really hard for me when people don't like themselves. I'm a
Mm.
person who loves people and I want people to feel good about themselves. And I think there's a lot of obviously like pressure in media and pressure in Western culture to look a certain way and to be a certain way. And it's just not real. It's just
Are you saying
not.
it's a social construct?
It might be a social construct. because it's just not like people are like, oh, I don't want to show my body. I have all these flaws and things. I'm like, name somebody in your life who has no scars, who has no
Right.
stretch marks, who has no dots and acne and all these things that people call imperfection. I'm like, they're actually the normal thing. That is what is
Mm.
normal. And those are the things that we try to hide from everyone.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, I don't care. I've got rolls and stretch marks and everything else. And it's never stopped me from doing anything that I wanted to do, whether it was regular or whether it was sexually. And so I'm like, fine. If you can gain inspiration from seeing my big body on a picture a few days of the week, then let's go. Let's do it.
I love that. First of all, it's a gift to all of us. I think I can truly speak for the entire audio erotica community when I say thank you.
I live to serve.
I love it. Well, we love it. We love being served Gaia every single week. It's something I hear about a lot. And I get a lot of people who kind of come into my DMs and they say things about like, it's just really hard for me to see myself in my bigger body with
Sure.
my stretch marks, with the skin color I have
Yes.
in this space, especially in audio erotica. Like sometimes it's like I can't see myself with the voice actor. Like I can't. Like I'm watching it happen to a hotter person and not
Sure.
me. I'm curious to know like what are your thoughts on that? Like, did you ever experience anything like that on your at any point in your journey? Did you ever experience something like that, or has it always sort of been
Sure.
like, no, this is like me?
No, I mean, I definitely have had those moments within audio erotica because I I have listened to an ungodly amount of audio erotica in my time. Listen, it was when I first started, I was like, "Oh, this is like I don't indulge in other substances. This was the one." I dove in. And so I've listened to a lot and they're just like things that you don't think, like audios that talk about like picking somebody up and like holding them against the wall. And while I still find that exceptionally hot, like homeboy gonna have to do some squats to do that in real life for me. And so it's things that you see and obviously the things that we talk about sometimes with darker skinned people, like conversations about blushing and leaving red marks and running
Mm-hmm.
the fingers through the hair and then I'm like, not today.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna happen today. You're not gonna be able to get it through the hair today. Um,
Yeah.
so there are things like that that I've experienced physically where I'm like yeah, that's probably not realistic. But it never to the point that I was like, I don't enjoy this art anymore. I'm not listening to this. But
Sure.
noticeable enough that when I heard audios that were particular and that did care a lot in that area, it's a huge difference and it hits in a very different way.
Yeah. Well, I think I mean, right, this is we talk about this all the time is the inclusiveness factor of things.
Sure.
And I know that, I see a lot of people wanting to see more like curve appreciation, fat acceptance
Sure.
audios out there and some voice actors are phenomenal at this, like are very, very good at writing it, at performing them. And there's always a hunger. And I'm
Sure.
curious, like I'd love to hear your thoughts on what the importance is of curating audio erotica to the curvy plus sized listeners in this space.
You know what? I think it's like really ironic to talk about fat acceptance and to also talk about food, but that's how I got here. So it's like being at a restaurant. Like I would never go to a restaurant and assume that everybody that was coming in likes the same foods. Like there are menus that are diverse because they know that there are diverse customers that come in and everybody has to eat. And I don't think it has to be any different with audio erotica. Like I know some
Yeah.
people have objections to specific audios, but I'm like, for why? For what? There can be something for everybody. And while I think that a large majority of content should just be inclusive of everyone, it's not a bad thing if somebody wants to make an audio just for a specific type of people, especially a type of people who are underrepresented in other areas. And like I said, early in my audio erotica exploration, I found a couple of audios, one that was particularly about curve appreciation and support and dealing with the feelings of that, and another one that was particularly for Black women. And I was like, oh, okay. Because audio erotica unlocks a lot of things in people. It's attached to a lot of desire and trauma sometimes, and learning things about yourself and unlearning things about yourself. And so how much more when you can find something and you can see yourself really in it, can it help in sometimes that healing process that you're working through?
I'm sure people know who have paid attention to my page and your page for a
Sure.
bit of inclusiveness is a thing that's a constant drumbeat,
Constant.
right? And it's always something I can't not talk about it. Like,
No,
I can't not do it.
no.
And I do think that curvy bodies, plus size bodies, people who identify as fat, I don't think people see like the like fat phobia
Mm,
as a systemic issue in the same way that we might see sexism or homophobia or racism as a systemic
sure.
issue. And I think it's because it's so, there's a whole other conversation, but I think it's because it's so closely tied to this idea that you could not be fat.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah, like
with enough medication.
just go
Exactly.
exercise. Like, what do you mean?
Right.
Just eat less. I'm
Exactly.
like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'll just starve myself.
Yeah.
Cool. Like, exactly. So I think there's like the change ability is why people can't make that jump. Whereas, like, I can't change my skin
For
color or
sure.
the shape of my eyes.
Nor should
But,
you.
like, no, I don't want to. I like who I am.
Absolutely, you're beautiful.
But I'm curious because it's like I do think that fat phobia is a systemic issue. I think fat people are treated differently, are treated as second class citizens, especially in like a Western context. And I think there are variations, right? Like you might see it more in like Asian cultures, for example,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to Latino or Black cultures. But for the most part, I still think it's very deeply systemic. You had sort of mentioned healing in audio erotica there.
Yeah.
I would love to hear more about your thoughts on maybe the role audio erotica, curve appreciation in audio erotica specifically, could help
Absolutely.
with that
I have
process. Yeah.
thoughts about that. I mean, because I have listened to a lot of appreciation audios as well, and some of them are awful. But because and I say that because a lot of them are very apologetic. A lot of them are like
Yes.
oh,
Oh.
like this person's feelings are hurt because somebody said something to them about being fat and now they're crumbled and crying and I'm going to take care of you
Mm.
and love you in spite of all of these things. And I remember having a conversation in a creator's Patreon because they wanted to make a curve appreciation audio and they're like, help me do this in a good way because I know it can be done wrong. And
Mm.
one of the things I commented on that, and I was like, you realize that there are plenty of fat people who are happy with themselves. And I think it helps other people who have insecurities in those areas to just see people who have not let that be an issue.
Mm.
Like I said earlier, like being fat has never stopped me from doing anything that I wanted to do in life. And I love who I am. And even, I mean, with wanting to be healthier and wanting to do things in that way, like I'm not gonna not love myself even if I want to change. And I think that's a thing for people too. It's like when I get to this point, then I'll be happy. And then
Yes.
I'm like, so you're gonna hold off your happiness until, like, I guarantee you're never gonna get to where you want to be then. And so I think that having audios, if you're gonna venture into curve appreciation, like just dive into people who love themselves. And that was it was really funny with that creator because there was a line I was like, here's something that I would love to hear in an audio. Like you're telling this woman that she's this, that, and the other, and she's beautiful, and her response is, I know. Because that's who I am. Like you're not gonna you're not gonna catch me off guard by telling me that
Yeah.
I'm a
And
beautiful. I'm like, yeah, of course. It's like the insult,
yeah.
like, oh no, you're not fat, you're beautiful. Like I didn't say I was ugly.
Like
That's not
I'm both.
they don't go hand in hand. Like it's not. I know I'm fat and I'm beautiful. That's it's not. And
Yeah.
so he actually incorporated that into that audio, and I was like, yes, because it doesn't always have to be. And I get like there are hard days. I didn't like. I've been fat my whole life, but I didn't. I wasn't always as confident as I am. But you have to get you have to get over it. And people don't. I mean, they don't. You can be fat and sad if you want to. I'm not going to participate with you, but I think it's when you see something that you can aim for, it's helpful. And so to
Mm.
see in an audio and to hear in an audio, if you're going to do curve appreciation, like let them just be celebrated and be happy about who they are, because that can be just as real as the hard days and everything else. Like I don't need you to be sad with me because I'm fat. Like,
Yeah, oof, oh my gosh, I have so many things I want to, I had like 14
I
thoughts as
bet.
you were talking that I was like, ah, this is amazing.
And I be yapping, girl. Just jump in.
Girl, I love your yapping. First of all, always yap at me. Like always welcome, more Gaia interactions in my life.
Yeah.
I think it's such an interest. I mean, so there's first that first sort of baseline of just like you can be happy and sexy and hot now in your like you don't have to
Yes.
wait to
No.
look a certain way. And I think that's right, that's part of the systemic like the systemic issue I was talking about earlier is like society will tell you that you are undeserving of feeling sexy
Yes.
in a certain type of, unless you have a certain type of body,
Yes.
right? But what I'm also drawn to in what you just said is this idea that you can put out there what people want to hear and it doesn't have to be conditional. That it's
No.
like you are this and you're hot. Like these are separate things.
Yes.
Or maybe they're the same thing, but they're not, it's not one or the other. Like it's a false dichotomy, it's a false binary.
Yes.
I don't know. I guess I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on like maybe like body neutrality, because I
Yeah.
think it's like sometimes I think about the body acceptance movement, which first of all has been co-opted by like the quote unquote wellness thin movement anyway.
Yeah,
Whole other
TikTok.
topic for another
TikTok is a
time.
mess right now. The clock.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Yeah. No. Also, like every time societally we want to control women more, we tend to prioritize and privilege
sure.
skinniness. Just throwing that out there as food for thought for
Mm-hmm.
people.
Mm-hmm.
I think this idea of like, I think there can be sometimes for someone who's maybe earlier in their
Sure.
accepting their body phase, or they're just earlier in that journey and they're still struggling with like, I'm not worthy because I look this way or because my body is this size.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I think there can be a pressure of like, you have to love your body. Like
Oh,
it,
sure.
it like there's almost like a overcorrection to the other side of
Yes.
like shame on you for not loving your, like there's like an intensity around that. And so I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on the concept, maybe like body neutrality of like, hey, maybe you just are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And I know that I obviously swing wide on the love yourself side. But
To be clear, I love
no, no,
it,
no,
just to
no.
be clear.
No, and that's fine. Because it's not just like a fat acceptance thing. Because I have followers who are all shapes and sizes and complexions and everything else. And everybody feels the same things towards their bodies. Like it's just not enough in some regard. Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much. But you can just be. Like you can actually just live life and it not like these don't have to be the things that consume our lives.
Mm.
I can't get up every day and think, and it does it encompasses a lot. Like I have to get up and figure out clothes to put on and where to buy clothes and where to, I mean, shoes are an issue for me because I have a giant foot, which is not seen as very feminine, to have like to be
Sure.
a
Yeah.
girl and I'm like buying dude size shoes when I need to go jog. Like I don't want the dudes Nikes. Well, they fit and they have great support, so that's what we're gonna do. But yeah, like it's okay to just be like, you don't have to be on a journey with your body. It's
Mm.
okay to just like, if you're happy with the size you are, with the shape you are, with, and I think that falls into a lot of areas. Like you don't have to always be improving in every area of your life. There's a lot of first, like, are you getting a degree? Are you doing this? Are you working for a promotion? Are you like, no, I have my job and I
Mm.
like it and I'm happy with the way that it is. My body is this size and I'm fine with it and it's great. And I'm going to get up in the morning and I'm going to put on lotion and I'm going to go on about my day. Like you can just
Mm-hmm.
be. It's okay.
Yeah. I think that contentedness piece, like I'm hearing from what you're saying is like, what if we tried to be content with our lives, whatever it is, and
Absolutely.
acknowledging the things in our lives that maybe aren't ideal for whatever reason, and maybe we have bad days and good days, but like maybe we just are having a bad mental health day, or
Yes.
maybe we're just having a bad body dysmorphia day. You had mentioned, and just because it's sort of on the topic, because at the very top you had sort of mentioned, like, I love loving on
I
people and I love
do.
encouraging people to love
Me
themselves.
too.
Where does that come from?
I think it's just part of my design. My real life is people. Like people are my job. And seeing people and listening to people and understanding people and having to help people in whatever condition that they're in. I always laugh because growing up in some of the circles that I did, that's always like a topic of conversation. Like, what do you feel like you're going to do with your life? And like, what areas are you talented and what areas are you gifted in? And one of the things that I always said was like, I think one of my strongest gifts is just to believe in people until they can believe in themselves. And
Mm.
so that's something that I'm just passionate about in this area in particular because body image comes up a lot in audio erotica circles because we're people throwing ourselves into the middle of these scenarios and trying to see ourselves and get some sort of validation that we're sexy and desired and just and it's just okay to be wild feral humans sometimes. And so when people can't see themselves in that because they don't value their own bodies and it hits that like core of who I am. I'm like, it is
Yeah.
okay to love you. Even like I said, even if you want to change, it is okay to love you exactly how you are. So let me show you what I see and let me tell you what I see. That's why I made a post with Which, and I know people think I'm just like bold and unmoved all the time, but it was one of those posts where I was like, what are you about to do, Gaia? And what sparked it, because you said, like you've said a few times, I am definitely a girl's girl. And sometimes I think in this space, like there was a post somebody had shared, and it was about body appreciation, and it was like a reel with a bunch of like clips of bodies with just, you know, regular things with stretch marks and things. And it was a beautiful clip. But the clip had been circulating for a little while, and it didn't gain traction until a male creator shared it. And so when they
Okay.
yeah, and so they shared it, and then lots of people started sharing it and tagging him because they're like, see, he's wonderful. Because, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, the clip itself is powerful. It's not more powerful because he co-signed it. What are you saying? And so that upset me. And because it's not,
Yeah.
because there's so much emphasis on the male gaze, and it irritates me sometimes, even as a woman who loves men. Like, I'm not more excited about a man commenting on my pictures and my body than I am about any of the women who follow me. And so
Nods vigorously.
yeah. And so from that, like, I made a post, and I just shared a bunch of pictures of just like what people claim to be imperfections are of my body. And I'm like,
I remember that
yeah,
one.
and it's like, here's me, like, here's me unposed, and here's me with my dimpled arms and scars on my legs and wrinkles and stretch marks and everything. And it's like, and you all see me in these conditions all the time, and you tell me how beautiful I am and how strong I am and how much you love me. I need you to see that in yourself as well. All of those things that I have, that you have the same things of, that somehow you look at me and you're like, you're amazing and you're wonderful. And like, and yes, and you are too. Amazing and wonderful, with the same stretch marks and the same dimples and the same rolls and the same thigh meat. Like, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. And that was a big push to continue Hump Day, because it's like you take these amazing pictures and things. And I'm like, I am in my 40s and 5'10" and almost 300 pounds, buddy. That's the reality of it. And people are like, oh my God. Like, yeah, I'm a large woman. And you love me still. And so, like,
I was like, we like
right,
it.
it's like, look at yourself. Do you understand that I see the same things when I look at you? So it's like, yes, it's good. Let's post the pictures, let's put them out, and I'm going to tell you, and we're going to get everybody, and we're going to bark at you like a man at a gas station, like flat out like a dog, because you deserve it, because you're beautiful. And it's not a show, and it's not a game. It's just what it is. It's just a fact.
That's really powerful, Gaia. Thank you so much for sharing that, because I do think it is. And I think this term gets overused, so I want to be really intentional about the way that I am about to use it, which is that I think it is deeply radical, genuinely radical, for women to love themselves, women and femmes to love themselves, especially if they don't fit into the narrative of whatever conventional attractiveness is defined as. And I think it's particularly powerful because it's so rooted in patriarchy of like, if women and femmes spend all this time competing with each other, then the men can go and dominate the world, which right, and which they do so through violence, right? They don't do it because they're any smarter than us. They use violence, right? And so to watch women uplift each other and to say like, no, I want you to show all of you the things that you think are flawed, and do it anyway, and be apologetic and be hot in it as you're doing it, I think is really genuinely really powerful. And I feel pretty confident in saying like that what you and Good Gentle Lady started has had massive reverberations. I hope you see that. I can't imagine that you don't see it. I'm personally grateful, and I think a lot of other people do as well. If you do, leave it in the comments. Let us know how much you love Gaia and Good Gentle Lady. And just knowing that, like, I guess, like, how do you feel knowing that that's had an impact? Like, knowing that you started this thing almost by accident.
Yeah.
And that it's snowballed into now there's a theme for every single day. And we're seeing people of all backgrounds posting really hot photos of themselves. Like, how do you feel knowing that you took part in starting this?
I don't know. It's definitely, it's humbling, because, I mean, that's just the thing. Like, no matter what, I laugh about it because, I mean, I started my Instagram page to post audio erotica quotes, and it's this whole other thing now. So, and I love it. I love seeing the different days, and it's funny, like people's story notes. They'll post now. They're like, you know, whatever words they're using, like thighs in the stories today. And and it just
This community is so funny.
hilarious, absolutely hilarious. And I just love it because, and I've gotten messages from people before, like, you know, like before this, and I mean, even the people still, like people that may have never participated in Hump Day, or people who wanted to, and they're like, I see this, they're like, I'm gonna do it. And I love those messages. I'm like, do it, you know, whenever you're ready. Like, don't feel like you have to, because everybody's out here, you know, flashing people on Instagram. But do it because you feel confident in yourself. And so I have gotten a few of those messages, and it's always really overwhelming, because to see that change in people, because I know how it was for me. I remember the first like spicy picture I took of myself, and I thought I was going to hyperventilate, because I'm like, what am I doing? But then I remember looking at it as well, and I thought, oh, like that's a pretty cool picture. And then that was, of course, a whole mix of feelings as well, because I'm like, why am I surprised that I look nice in this picture?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I know those emotions that people go through. And sometimes you take a picture and you look at yourself and you're like, what is that? Like, burn it. But to get to that point and to progress down the way that you see yourself and you're like, I look good, you know, and I'm going to show other people how good I look. And then those people comment and they're like, you know, the fire emojis and the wild comments that come along with it. I mean, I know I've said some just off the wall,
I love them.
just off the wall things to people. And just like the barking is my favorite.
I was just gonna say the barking is so funny to me.
Because I'm like, what is happening? But it's perfect. Like sometimes that's just what it is. You just gotta bark. I love to see that change in people when they're like, no, I am valuable and I'm worth it and my body is great, and here it is. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful to see.
And you know what I've noticed? I get similar but different types of comments, I'm sure, but like people wanting permission to do a thing that they're a little scared of. Like I do those
Yes.
like silly live react videos, and I've had a lot of people being like, I don't know, should I do it? And sometimes all they need is one person
Mm-hmm.
being like, do it.
Yes.
Post it,
Yes.
say the thing, and they will do, like it's amazing how just one person being like, yeah, go do it is all a lot of people need, which is one of the reasons why I think you have such an impact and a lasting impact on this community. I think one of the things that's a sign of like genuine impact is when things keep going, when somebody stops doing a thing in an official
Yeah.
capacity, right? Like Hump Day is officially not real, but it is a thing. It's still a thing. People are
Yes.
still posting on Hump Day
And
every
I love
Wednesday, despite
it.
the
I
fact
love
that,
it.
yeah. So I hope you are proud. I know that you've had an impact on a lot of people, myself included,
Mm.
in this space. And I guess just as a closeout, I think one of the things I'd love to ask my guests is like advice or, you know, like thoughts you have, like what you would
Sure.
say to somebody who maybe wants to get to that point, maybe has been thinking about posting that spicy photo, or
Yeah.
maybe even thinking about taking the spicy photo,
Mm-hmm.
maybe someone who's not feeling super confident in themselves yet, or just maybe is still struggling with feelings of disliking their body. Like
Sure.
what might you say to them?
Look at yourself in the mirror naked. And
Mm-hmm.
it's terrifying. Like it is not fun at first, but it will change your life. Like in ways that you may not understand if you actually just dare to love yourself fully. So that's where I would start. Like just stand in the mirror and look at yourself. And do it as long as you can. And turn the angles around and think, take your camera out, turn the video on, and just stand there. Turn around and twirl. See all of you. Like make yourself look at the parts that you like the least. Because if nothing else, you're going to get used to it. And it's not going to be
Yeah,
a
I was gonna
shock, and
say.
it's not going to be like this thing. Like I have scars from so many from like so many stupid things that I've done in my life, and things that just used to make me very, so there was a period of my life where I didn't wear shorts. I mean, it was
Mm.
years, because you know, I had issues with my legs, and you wouldn't know now because my, like I said, the thigh meat is out all the time.
I haven't seen it.
Girl, it'd be out there, and I love my thighs now. Just do it. You don't have to show them to anybody, but just get
Hmm.
used to looking at you and seeing it. And once you get over the shock of it, then you can move on to appreciation. And then once you get over that, you can start to love yourself. But just get used to it for yourself first. Take value in just seeing you.
Yeah, I think that's such really simple advice because I do think we're societally we're taught to like avert our gaze
Yes.
from things that we label as undesirable, right? And that includes what stretch marks, dimples, whatever. The irony, and I have a lot of friends in the fat community who say like it's bizarre to take up as much physical space as I do and
Mm-hmm.
to be invisible. Like people just
Yes.
don't look at me. They do not look at me.
Yeah.
That invisibilization of fat bodies and anything close to imperfection, quote unquote, is why we continue to feel feelings of disgust or undesirableness
Yeah.
around it. And so I love the simplicity of like just look at it.
Just look at it.
Like resist the
Absolutely.
urge to avert your eyes. And like I think one of the best advice I got from a friend was like follow plus size people and look at their photos.
Yes.
Like follow plus size models, follow plus size creators. Because I think part of it is so much of it is like because we avert our gaze so much, we don't know how to react to things that society has told us is undesirable.
Mm-hmm.
And so the knee jerk is to reject it because human bias works that
Oh,
way.
for sure.
So I really appreciate that, and I will be taking your advice because there are parts of my
Yeah,
body that I don't
girl. Go
love,
ahead and
and
look at
like
this
I probably
stuff.
should look at it
Go
more.
on and look at it. Go on.
Gaia, thank you. Oh, thank you so much for
Absolutely.
being on Smut Chat.
Thank you for
I
having me.
adore you. I think you're so talented. I think you're so beautiful. I think you're so warm. You bring such a warmth to this space, and I know other people feel similarly as I do. So thank you so much. I just have loved having you
Absolutely.
on this
Thank you
talk.
for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for joining us for Smut Chat with Jeen Bean. We will see you next month, and in the meantime, stay smutty. Bye.